Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. One hell of a drug. And I do want to welcome you to the channel wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for watching. The title of today's show is No, Not a Bear Market. Now I'm going to share some things as to why I believe we're still in a bull market. I'm also going to give the balanced side of the possibilities of a bear market, but also why this also could be your last chance to buy Bitcoin before the market takes off again. And so before we do that and check out some charts and some other news, smash the like button. This does help get this channel out to more people and, of course, does help support the channel, as does the wonderful comments that you take the time to write. I take the time to read them and respond. So let's jump in first of all. If you're not following me on X, there's a few funny posts just to lighten the market a little bit. I'm going to eliminate capital gains taxes, right? And then I do like this one, your technical analysis is no match against my tweets. I hold the cards. The cards are made in China. I do have some other, lots of interesting stuff here as well. So check out all of my posts here on X. You can follow me, Tribal Trader at CryptoCoins365. But here we go with Nick. I do like Nick Crypto. It's a typical Bitcoin bull market correction. In fact, the correction in the cycle is nowhere close to the corrections we've seen in prior cycles. It becomes even more stark when viewed as a rolling medium. No, not a bear market. And right now, as of today, I'm going to say no, not a bear market. And if we looked at the previous drawdowns in bull markets, we see that this is very, very light, very, very light in comparison. And so, no, not a bull market. And what would make it a bear market? I'm going to share that in a moment, including an indicator that we need to watch, that we must watch, this one indicator. And then, of course, we also have the hash rate. When the hash rate is at an all-time high, usually Bitcoin's price does follow, okay? So let's look at some interesting thing here in the charts. Let's look at the charts first, and then we'll go on the bull versus bear case. And so what we have here is we have a break above the 50-day moving average. We failed to break it on Wednesday. We broke and closed above it multiple days, actually, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We closed below it on Wednesday, but it popped back above it. But what's also very interesting is the Tribal Trades trend line, one line to rule them all. Not only has the line to the downside held up pretty well. Yes, we had a few days, maybe a week where we busted under the Tribal Trades trend line, but it has held pretty heavily as support. As you can see, every time it's come down and tagged almost, apart from that 1 week, that one time it went through and then it burst back up again, it has held pretty well. But this trend line here, I'm not going to go all the way back to January, has been a downtrend. It's held Bitcoin in a downtrend, and when we broke above that, retested the support, got back up the 50-day moving average, but rejected on the 200 EMA on the daily. So you can actually have swung traded this quite beautifully, actually just trading it pretty much from either the 20 EMA on the daily here. You can see this light purple line up to the 200 EMA on the daily, or even the 50 EMA on the daily actually would have been better. You know, the 20 EMA on the daily from about 83,100, 83,300 up to the 50 EMA on the daily to 85. You could have traded this swing here beautifully, and I've been sharing that in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord already, what are you waiting for? Down below in the description of this video, you might need to click the more button. That will pop out. There's the Tribal Trades Discord there, sharing trade setups, entries, both for shorts and longs, teaching leverage trading. We do live trading sessions in there as well. Had somebody in the Discord who made $4,000 yesterday, literally just taking my trade setups. And like I say, you know, if you got to risk it to get the biscuit, and you got to be in it to win it. A lot of people aren't making money because they aren't taking the trades, and the trade setups that I give have been solid. support and resistance. You don't short at support, you go long at support and you short at resistance. Rinse and repeat and make money. You can see here we've been trading pretty much in this range pretty solidly here and could have made some great money. And I shared a video about that yesterday. So if you're not already in the Tribal Trades Discord, there's a link below in the description where you can sign up. I'm also in the Stocks with Josh Discord as a Crown Traders there, my own channel within the Discord where I share some trade setups, technical insights, resources, and of course entertainment, because this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Okay. And so as we can see there. So what am I looking at today is if we hold above this 50-day moving average, the key for me is to get back above the 200-day moving average. And we'll look at this on a weekly chart. We're going to switch over here to the weekly chart and just zoom out a little bit. So here's a few cases for the bull and for the bear. Number one is the hash ribbons indicator has flashed. You can see the last time that it flashed, we did see some downside before it took off. Same thing here, it flashed. We've seen some downside. I think we are going to see a takeoff. The 200-day moving average currently sitting at 87,700 is the line in the sand for bull market continuation. Back above that, retest of support like we've done with the 50-day moving average, and we're off to the races. So the hash ribbons indicator is one. The other one is the stochastic RSI. When this has been in the floor underneath here, the 20% line in the floor has generally been a good time to buy Bitcoin. You can see the last times that it was under and Bitcoin was down at around 56 and down at around 57. We could go even back a little bit further here and see a previous time. It just sneaked below it there. It was at 41. And again, the previous time it was down below there. Bitcoin was at 26. And then there again, you see the hash ribbons indicator before the market takes off, hash ribbons indicator. So the stochastic RSI being oversold on the weekly time frame, again, historically has been a good time to buy Bitcoin. And the hash ribbons indicator just happens to have flashed as well. Okay, so these are two very, very bullish signs. Plus, we haven't had any Bitcoin top signals that have come in traditionally. I have a separate video on that. I'm not going to go into that at the moment. However, the one warning I would give is the MACD on the monthly. And what I do want you to see here is that the last time, and I'm just going to bring the screen in here a little bit. There is the bull market top right there in November of 2021. And we saw the blue line cross over the red line on the MACD at this point. We are very, very close to this happening down here again, the bottom. In fact, it may or may not. You can see it got very, very close here. And then it went on and made a new all-time high. And I actually feel that that could be that we're seeing history repeat, where we saw this drop down in April. Look how deep it went, 55% or around 55%, April, May, June, and then we began to take off and made a new all-time high in November. We could see something similar here, where we come very close, we don't touch, we go on and make a new all-time high. So we have two peaks again. This one could be a little high, maybe a little bit lower this time, and we may not make a new all-time high, but we may get pretty close to it, and then we see this crossover. So on the monthly, if you've got the MACD on your chart, keep an eye on that. Usually when that is crossed, that's going to be a sign for the negative. But I can say, just remember, and I will add this into my bear market signals. First of all was the death cross, where we saw the royal blue line cross below the light blue line of the 200. So the 50-day moving average goes below the 200-day moving average. That's a death cross, okay? So every bear market has had these signals. It's had a death cross. It's had a weekly close below the 50-week moving average. This is this white line here. We haven't had that yet. We had a wick down, but not a close. That's number 2 bear market signal. Number 3 bear market signal is a weekly opening close below, preceding a close below, and then the weekly open and then closes, not opens and shoots back up. And then the fourth is the rejection of the 200-day moving average here. So that price would then bounce off here, what they call a dead cat bounce, and then, or a bear market relief rally, and then reject off the 200-day moving average. And then, of course, the stochastic RSI on the monthly time frame for the blue line to cross below the red line. So those are the 5 steps that I'm looking for. Now, of course, could we skip some of those steps and just kind of have a situation where we come up, hit the 200-day moving average and reject, and then the bull market would be over? Yes, that's a possibility, but still at some point, we're going to have an open and then an open and a close below, and then another rejection off the 200-day moving average. So we need all those 5 things in play. Those are the 5 things I'm looking for a confirmed bear market. Otherwise, historically, buying between the 50 EMA on the weekly down here at 77,800 and the 20 EMA on the weekly at 86,600 have been fantastic opportunities. And this could be the last time, if we are in a bull market, which I think that we still are, this will be the last opportunity to buy Bitcoin or add Bitcoin before it takes off and I think gets up around or makes a new all-time high. And remember, that doesn't mean all your favorite altcoins are going to do the same. Most altcoins, I believe, their all-time high is already in. Some altcoins would make new all-time highs, and some altcoins are just going to continue down to 0 or stay dead. Okay, so just be very, very careful in those kinds of situations, all right? So that's what we're looking for in the shorter term. Obviously, I've given some trades here today. Just, obviously, this is a trade I gave in the Discord this morning, jumping in at this 84 level and then riding up to 85. Or it could, the next level of resistance is 85,300, 85,600 is the 9 EMA. And then, of course, the 20 EMA on the weekly is at 86,600. And that's going to be a huge level to get us out, because that breaks us out of that 20 EMA and 50 EMA band that we have been in. We've been in this band here. Let's get a weekly time frame and zoom out here. But this band that we have been in, when we breach down below it, we've basically been trading between the 50 EMA on the weekly around the mid 70s up to, and we've come up a few times and tested it. And again, this is how you make money, people. It's not rocket science. You buy at support there, the 50-week moving average, and you could have just sold at the 20-week, bought at the 50-week, sold at the 20-week, bought at the 50-week, sold again at the 20-week moving average there. So let's check out, before we go, of course, our favorite, the yellow brick road. We're going to follow the yellow brick road, follow the yellow brick road. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. And what can we see here? What are the market makers going to do? Well, I think there's just liquidity to the upside that they're going to come and look and get. That doesn't mean that we can't go up, have one final flush down, and then have a big shoot up to the top. I have shared about the short squeeze and how that works in previous episodes. I won't go into it now. Hopefully you're a regular watcher of the show and you'll have learned this, but this would be tough to leave behind. They could leave it behind for a bear market. I do believe in the bear market, we will come down to these levels again, at least. And if we go into a bear market soon, of course, we'll see those levels quite soon. But I do believe we'll come up and we'll take these levels up here at 110,000 before, and maybe later we come and get this in the bear market, or maybe we come and get it soon. And there's a final flush to the downside where more shorts will load up, because I think that's what the market makers want. They're spending all this time, bearish sentiment, people going short, and then they send it high to the upside. Of course, if we look on the shorter time frame, what might happen today? Well, pick it, flip a coin. Are they going to push it up to 85 first, or are they going to bring it down to these 83 levels there? There's your liquidity there on the very short time frame. On the 12-hour time frame, again, the same thing. We got 85 and 83 there. It'll be interesting to see which level they take out first. What level do you think they're going to take out? It's just a real small move anyway. We've been kind of trading in between there a fair bit as it is, so it'll be interesting to see what level they go for first. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. And of course, as always, until the next episode, or until I see you on the Discord, happy trading.